yesterday I come across Harry Shush. I come across a great deal of people who. It's awfully difficult. I can't even string my words together.
Well, it's really hard. You've got two of the most impossible people sitting here with us.
Harry, shush. Shush. Harry, sit down.
It's good practice to cope
Just sit. Just sit.
Sutherland urged Diana to articulate her goals.
What would you want to be if you weren't who you are? If you weren't the Princess of Wales?
I'd like to have a role which brought me into contact with everyday life and the man on the street. Does that sound condescending?
You can elaborate that a bit more. So let's okay. So picture it a bit more as a role. Yes, if you weren't the Princess of Wales, what kind of job would you like to be doing?
Well, I'd like to be in a position where I could listen to people and maybe share knowledge. On some sort, like counselling or something.
So counselling you found interesting. I mean,
yes.
You talk to a lot of people.
I enjoy enormously talking one-to-one to people, yes.
Right. And, I mean, you're doing this frequently. What particular aspect of that do you like the most?
I like to draw out the darker parts of people's way of thinking.
Why the darker parts?
Because normally the people I've met, they're afraid to share it with me or with anyone, and I think it helps by tapping onto it.
Princess Diana was changing, and so were the causes she chose to support.
I chose these particular areas because they were all areas where the individuals have been rejected for some reason or another, and I'm able to relate to that particular department because my role and my duties have taken me into these. Have drawn me into these areas.
Diana's answers reveal how deeply she longed for the affirmation she felt she never got from the royal family.
And do you feel that what you do has a positive influence?
Well, I hope it does, because I think whoever we are, we all like to be thanked for what we're doing.
Diana understood that her position gave her the power to address issues others couldn't or wouldn't, such as AIDS.
Because I don't think it's a particularly glamorous area, because it's dealing with all sorts of issues. And the last issue is death, which people do not discuss freely.
There was one question, a fundamental question, that she could not answer.
Your Royal Highness, you're concentrating very much on your... Stop laughing at me. on your charity work. Why is this work so important to you?
Because it highlights the plight. It highlights the plight of others, and if I'm able to go into a situation which makes others more aware of their desperation, and I can't do this. It's ghastly.
What's ghastly?
Because I've got no adrenaline. I'm dead. I can't get anything out. I don't know the answer to that question.
Okay.
There was a particularly poignant moment when Sutherland asked a straightforward question.
How do you see your role in, let's say, 5 years' time?
I have no clue to that question.
Nobody dreamed she wouldn't have 5 years. The year after Diana's coaching sessions with Sutherland, it was her husband who gave the first one-on-one royal television interview.
This is the story of the Prince of Wales today.
For a documentary called Charles, the Private Man, the Public Role. A 2.5-hour program, it was this 22-second exchange that viewers remember.
Did you try to be faithful and honourable to your wife when you took on the vow of marriage?
Yes, absolutely.
And you were?
Yes. Until it became irretrievably broken down. Until it became irretrievably broken down. Us both having tried.
When they heard from the Prince of Wales's own mouth that he had committed adultery, that shattered a lot of illusions. I think Charles's confession of adultery was about the single biggest mistake he's ever made.
Diana made a statement of her own that night. She deliberately selected an outfit that would make heads turn when she attended a gallery opening.
She wore her up-you frock. It was a really lovely black number.
Great legs. I mean, she was out to kill Charles that night. Kill him public-wise and make everyone wonder whether Charles was just totally mad or not.
The following year, Diana gave her own interview to the BBC's Panorama. She even admitted having an affair with her writing instructor, James Hewitt, going further than she had on the audio tapes.
Were you unfaithful?
Yes, I adored him. Yes, I was in love with him.
And she publicly confirmed much of what she'd said in the secret tapes made 5 years earlier for Andrew Morton's book.
Do you think Mrs. Parker Bowles was a factor in the breakdown of your marriage?
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
Most controversial of all, she questioned Prince Charles' ability to be king.
I would think that the top job, as I call it, would bring enormous limitations to him. I don't know whether he could adapt to that.
If ever a woman put the boot into somebody, it was suggesting that Charles could never take the #1 job, meaning he was not fit for it.
Diana's televised gamble paid off. As it did when the Morton book hit the stores, the public response was overwhelmingly sympathetic, though she was skewered by Charles' allies, including then Defense Minister Nicholas Soames.
It really is the sort of advanced stages of paranoia.
Given the fact that everything she suspected turned out to be true, how can you say that was paranoia?
The Queen had had enough. A month after the broadcast, she urged Charles and Diana to divorce. In August of 1996, the marriage between the Prince and the Princess of Wales was officially dissolved. A chapter in her life had closed. As Diana told James Colthurst 5 years earlier, she had expected it.
I think from day one, I always knew I'd never be the next queen. Put it that way. No one said that to me, I just knew it.
When we return, the deadly crash beneath the streets of Paris.
The media were not responsible for Diana's death.
Did Diana predict her own tragic end? Diana talks about her destiny.
Battle-scarred but hopeful, Diana was finally free to pursue the life she wanted, and it would include the romance and affection she craved.
I had so many dreams as a young girl, hopes that my husband would look after me, he'd be like a father figure, he'd support me, encourage me, say well done, but I didn't get any of that.
So when 1 year after her divorce, a handsome millionaire named Dodi Fayed began to shower her with charm, gifts, and attention, the princess was receptive. Diana had spent most of her life trying to dodge the press, but now she made a point of showing how happy she finally was by orchestrating a photo op on the deck of Dodi's yacht.
The Dodi picture on the boat with the kiss and so on, I mean, that was a telephone call between the photographer and Dodi. And Diana. It was all being managed.
But Diana's relationship with the press had always been complicated. She used them, they used her, and it was a dangerous game.
Could I ask you to respect my children's space?
Out. Out. O-U-T, out. Have a nice trip, man.